Hi everyone and welcome to another video. Today I'd like to run through a service in Amazon, which is probably one of my favorites and I think one of the coolest, is Amazon Rekognition. Now this service has been around for a while. I haven't played with it for a few years, so I thought I would re-familiarise myself and see what new options are available. So as it says, this is the home screen for Amazon Rekognition on the console. It's a deep learning based visual analysis service, which is pretty cool. So it can look at images, it can look at a video, whether it's stored or streaming, and it can identify everything from faces, celebrities. It can do face comparisons, it can look at text within images, and it can also do image properties as well, which is a new feature. Around looking at the colours and all the different properties of an image. But the one that we're going to play around with today is label detection. So label detection, basically, it looks at a photo or an image and it will detect what objects are in that image. So as part of this demo, we'll build out a Lambda function and we'll leverage the Amazon Rekognition APIs using Python and Boto 3 to be able to read a image from an S3 bucket and then be able to output the different different labels that it can detect in that image. Before we delve into building that out, let's have a quick look at the demo. So you can, if you go to the page in the console, you can it's actually got a whole lot of demos here. So we can see here we've got one for facial analysis. So here's a lady driving a car. So we can see that it detects that it looks like a face, appears to be female, it's 99% sure, age range, it's even giving an age range. Not smiling, well, that's sort of a half smile, but anyway, appears to be happy and 99% wearing glasses. We can also look at face comparison. So if you see here, we've got photos, there's two people in these photos, and you can see that the similarity of being able to detect both faces in the photo is 99%. The one that we're going to play around with today is the label detection. So as I said, label detection allows you to process an image, and Amazon Rekognition will actually pick up all the different objects in that image and be able to identify them. So as you can see here, we've got someone skateboarding across a crosswalk with a whole lot of cars and buildings down a street. So you can see here that it's 99% sure that it's a neighbourhood, which looks like a neighbourhood to me. City, definitely looks like a city. Road, street, urban, person. And then you can even show more. So it's even picking up that there's cars, transport, there's vehicles, clothing, footwear, shoes, etc. So obviously it's picking up a lot of different labels here that make up this photo, because there's a lot of things going on in this photo. But you can also refine these down to only show you the relevant ones that you want. So having said that, let's jump into Lambda and we can start building out a Lambda function to be able to process some photos. Actually, before we do that, I do have two photos here. So I've got one here, which is a lovely photo of a boat sitting on the water with a city background and some bush there. So we'll get it to have a look at that and see what it comes back with. And another one here that we'll be using is a lovely picnic scene. So someone's having a lovely picnic, there's a pond behind them, there's some different food and drinks and hats and cushions. So we'll get it to process that and we'll see what it comes back with as well. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to S3 and upload those two images so that the Lambda function can read them. So we'll just go to S3. Okay, so we're in the bucket that I have set up for this demo. So I'm just going to drag and drop the images in to upload them. Upload. Cool, so we've got test image 1. And the second one, upload. Cool. So we now have our 2 test images uploaded to this S3 bucket. So now we can go and write the Lambda function to be able to read them and get Rekognition to process them and find out what objects are in it, or labels. So we'll go across to Lambda now. So we'll create a new Lambda function. We'll create it from scratch. We will call it demo. We're going to use Python, so we'll use Python. That's fine. Advanced settings, no, the rest of it we can just leave for now. So we'll create the function. Okay, so our function has now created. As I said, we're going to use Python and Boto3 to be able to read in the image from the bucket and then generate a response from Rekognition. So first we need to set up the role for Lambda so that it has access to be able to read from the S3 bucket and also has access to Rekognition to be able to use that. So if we go into configuration here, and here's our role. So it's created a role for us. So we're going to actually just edit this role. Okay, so we'll attach a policy, we'll give it Amazon Rekognition full access so that it can add that, use that service, and then we'll add another one, S3, and we'll give it S3 read-only access because it only needs to be able to read the images from the bucket. So we'll add permission. Okay, great. So we've now given the role permission to be able to use the Amazon Rekognition service and to be able to read the images from the S3 bucket. So now if we close this and go back, okay, so now that we've given that extra permissions, we can now start writing some code. So what we need to do is we can get rid of this for the moment. And we'll add some so as I said, we're using Python, so we're using Boto3, so we need to import Boto3. Now we need to say what it's going to be using, what part of Boto3. So we're going to be using Rekognition, so we're going to say the client equals Boto3 client, and then in brackets we're going to tell it to use Rekognition. Okay, so first off we'll add some variables for the bucket where the image is stored and the name of the image that we want to process first. So we'll call it bucket name equals what was it called again? Dash demo, and then we will give it a file name equals so the first one we uploaded was test1, so we'll process that first. test1.jpg. Okay, great. So we now know the bucket that we want to pull the image from, and we now know the image name, or the name of the image, the file we want to process. So basically, the next command is the actual using the Rekognition API to be able to tell it to what we want to detect. So this is a bit of a longer one, so I'm going to just copy and paste this in, and then we can run through what it is. So paste. Okay. So what is this command doing? So basically, we're using we're going to generate a response. We're going to, in the Rekognition client, we're going to use the detect labels function. We're going to pull the image from a S3 object, which is our bucket, which is bucket name, which is this bucket here, and the file name we're going to process is this file, which is our test1.jpg, which I believe is the boat, correct. So that's basically telling it that we're going to generate a response, or we're going to ask it to detect labels in image in this location. Now this is where I said in the demo you can see how it generates a lot of different labels. So here we can actually refine what we want it to generate. So what we're saying here is we only want it to generate 3 labels, and the minimum confidence that we want it to show is 80%. In fact, I'm going to change that to 95%. And we actually might show a few more labels. So let's show 5 labels. Okay, great. So now we're going to get a response. All right, so let's just leave it at that, and let's see if it works. So what we want to do then is we then want to be able to print response. Okay, so this is now going to run. It's going to load the boat03. It's going to use the client, which is going to be the Rekognition. Then it's going to use the Rekognition to be able to detect labels in an image in the S3 bucket location. It's going to output a max of 5 labels, and the minimum confidence has to be 95% for each of those. Okay, so let's, fingers crossed, and give it a test. So we'll test it. We can run it here. That's fine. We can leave all this. We'll just call it my test and save. All right, so now that we've done that, we need to deploy this code. So let's deploy it. Okay, so it's deployed it. So now what we can do is run a test. So if we now test it. Okay, so it's now run it. It's now pulled back the response from the functions. So we've got labels. We can say it's a boat, confidence of 99.99%. Parents, transport, we've got vehicle, we've got categories, automotive, sailboat. Okay, so that's great. So it's giving us a response, and it's detecting that there's a boat in the image. So, but as you can see, this is a little bit hard to read. So let's do a few more things to make it a little bit easier to read. So let's now take this, and instead of doing, we'll comment this out. So instead of printing the whole lot, let's make it look a bit neater. So we'll now do create a for loop, for label in response. So for each of the labels it responds, we now want to go labels, and so it's going to loop through, and for each label that it responds in response, that it generates in the response, we're going to print, now we'll say label plus label, so we're going to print the label name, but it detects. Name, what else? And then we'll print, so that's going to print the label name. So as we saw it before, it was saying it was a boat. So now we want to go, okay, print, let's print the confidence. So we'll now print, and we'll say the level of confidence. So, and then we'll do this, and then we'll go, put that in a plus string. Label. Yes, that's right. And then confidence. Just do excellent. Oops. Yep. And then we'll print, sorry, oops, confidence. And then we'll also print the instance. Oops, capital. Great. Okay, so let's deploy that. And now we can see what it's done. So let's test it again, run our test. Okay, here we go. So this is looking a bit neater. So again, that image, so we can see that it's, and again, I'll just show you the image. So if we open up the image, bring it over here. So this is the image that it has, that it's shown, that we uploaded, and we can see that it said, okay, it's 99.999% confident that we're looking at a boat in the image, which we are. It said that it's 99.99% confident that it's a sailboat, which it is. And then it's saying yacht. And that's showing that we've got some water there. It's also showing that we've got some nature. So if we go back and let's upload some more labels. So let's say the max label is going to be 10. We will deploy that and test it again. Okay, here we go. So it's given us more. So now we've got nature, outdoors. It's showing a horizon. It's showing sky, which it's showing. You can keep going, and eventually it will show the horizon. We'll say there might be buildings back there. We're seeing nature. We're seeing sky. So that's great. It's picking up all the objects in this picture. So let's test it on another one. So we will use test 2, which is just for everyone's memory, this nice picnic scene. So what we'll do is we'll go back here and we'll tell it to look at test 2, deploy that, and we'll run it. Okay, look at that. So we've got, it's showing us that it's fun. Yeah, a picnic by that water, that looks like fun to me. It's a leisure activity, and then it showed us that it's 99.5% that it's a picnic. But you notice that it's only given 3 labels back when we are asking for 10. That's because of the minimum confidence. So if we drop the minimum confidence down to 80%, and we'll try that. So deploy that, test that. Okay, awesome. So you can see here it's given us more. So it's saying that it's 85% sure there's a picnic basket. Looks like there's a handbag there, a bag, accessories, which it is showing in the photo. So that's just a quick overview and a quick demo of how you can use Amazon Rekognition and Lambda to be able to identify objects within photos. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you again soon.